So our valuation puts the Donald at $2.9 billion, and that's taking into account all of the assets and liabilities and cash flows that we could find.
So if he liquidated today, that would be what he would walk away with in suitcases?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Very, very nice suitcases, Louis Vuitton suitcases. But this is traditionally difficult. It's not just the Donald and his own inflated sense of self-worth, but it's hard to estimate the net worth of somebody who works in real estate.
Absolutely. The benefit we have here for his most valuable properties is that New York City is one of the most closely watched real estate markets. We have a lot of really good data there. But he also has the golf courses and resort properties, and those are harder to penetrate.
Now, he doesn't own a lot of those, though, right? They're licensed, or his name is the brand that they've taken on.
So there are many buildings throughout the world and a few in the U.S. That have Donald's brand on them that he neither built, developed, nor owns. He collects licensing revenue from those buildings. They put his name on there with the hopes of selling condos and hotel rooms at higher prices.
How do you calculate the value of his brand?
So we are currently only calculating the value of his brand based on the cash flow disclosed for royalties and licensing in his FEC disclosure.
Which was a very wide band for each, right? It was like, it could, you know, between $50,000 and $250,000.
There's a notoriety here in that, but I'm thinking, and again, Mr. Trump and his staff did not comment on your work, right?
Correct.
Okay, they did not comment. Fair. Did anybody do this with George Bush the younger, or for that matter, George Bush the older? We said, they got a lot of oil wells, and we really don't know what they're worth. Why is this a big deal?
This is a big deal because Trump has historically and continues to make it a big deal. He talked about valuations.
The real issue here is he said $10 billion.
He said $10 billion, and whether it's our estimate or someone else's estimate, there's slight variations between those, but none of them get close.
So let's walk through this. There's an equity valuation, and everybody look at the article out on Bloomberg Politics. It's really mint. And then you overlay 2 point whatever plus 3.3 Trump will, right? Not goodwill, not bad will, Donald will, or Trump will, whatever. And then typically real estate animals like Mr. Trump, I can see 3 of his buildings in our set design here on the set. I mean, within that, they roll the debt on top of that. That's a normal real estate dialogue. Obviously, you say they shouldn't do that.
Well, so the nice thing about the FEC disclosure that we don't have for all billionaires is a sense of liabilities and what buildings they belong to. So we're able to calculate as a separate asset all of the liabilities they have on these buildings.
So Nike Town, so many of our viewers and listeners know Nike Town on 57th. I'm so active in the gym. I'm there weekly.
Sure.
Nike Town, he owns that, right?
So he owns the leasehold to Nike Town. But
what's that mean?
So he doesn't have the deed, but he owns the rights to lease it out to, in this case, Nike. So when you look at the value of a building versus the value of a leasehold, our experts that we talked to told us to treat it with about a 10 to 15%.
So are these like triple, to go into the weeds here, is this triple net lease where they're free and clear and you've got a pure income stream from Mr. Trump?
So he's still paying rent back to the owner of the company. And for a while that was incredibly low. That was less than $1 million. It recently kicked up to 6% of the property's fair market value, which leaves him a lot of room for negotiating.
Yeah, but that's okay because Tony Dwyer's buying 8 pair of shoes a month for the offspring.
Well, Tom, I think I would actually, Tom, I would argue that it's significant that we figure out how much he's worth, because if he's going to finance his own run for president, there's a difference between somebody who's worth $10 billion, how they finance a run, and somebody who's worth $3 billion. $3 billion ain't what it used to be.
Well, litigation.
That kind of thinking didn't work for Malcolm Forbes. Or Steve Forbes.
Steve Forbes.
So that, I mean, that's one of those things where we got to be careful of looking what he's worth and what it really means to the whole thing. He's not going to finance.
What's a golf course worth in Scotland?
So the golf courses are valued anywhere from about $50 million to $150 million in our valuation.
All right, Caleb Melby, I got to jump in here. We're going to send you to Scotland to figure that one out. In the meantime, read his and Richard Rubin's article on Bloomberg.com.